Hey everybody, and welcome. It is Cricket Presents The Warm-Up. I'm Neil Beasley. That is Professor Diggs. We were both at Porcupine Stadium, but Riggs, I didn't see you. What happened? Did you not make it down on the field where all the action is? What's going on?
I was down there pregame, but at the time I had to go back up to the mezzanine section and tweet an absolutely amazing game. You got to film and voice an absolutely amazing game, so we got the same impact out of it. But Peaster, we got to see the birth of a program. The Peaster Greyhounds make it to the state semifinals. First time they've gone this far, 8-year history of their school. It is a phenomenal story.
Yeah, it was great. It's a great game and everything else, but I just missed my Professor Diggs sighting. But we've still got some time here coming up. In fact, speaking of that, it is time now for the lineup. 3 games that you need to know about and we need to talk about. The first one's a big one. 6A, Duncanville, Allen, 11-1 and 14-0. Duncanville, 11-1. Now, this is where they only 12 games, so that's got to help them. They're not quite as tired as everybody else, but boy, the Allen Eagles, 14-0, they don't look like they're tired at all. This should be a great one.
Yeah, Allen hasn't had to play full games too much this year, neither has Duncanville to that end. But when I look at Duncanville and I look at the elite teams they've played, good offenses have been able to score against them. South Oak Cliff scored 28, DeSoto scored 28, and the 2 games of Waxahachie played against them, they scored 28 and 27. But Allen, for the most part, has even been able to lock down really good offenses. North Crowley only scored 21, Louisville only scored 15. Prosper did get 30. But when I kind of look at this, there's 2 major questions I'm asking myself. Can Duncanville consistently run on the Allen defense? And the way Allen shut down North Crowley, I think that might be a no. And then can Jeremiah Dowd consistently throw on the Duncanville defense? You look at what Jerry Meyer was able to do. I think the answer to that is yes. I think it's going to be a slugfest at Mesquite Memorial. It's going to be an incredible game. But I think Allen's going to score one more score. I think they're going to win a 28-24 kind of a game.
All right, we got another great one in 6A. Southlake, Carroll, and DeSoto. 14-0 for Carroll. Now, you look at them, you say, hey, in the playoffs, they're averaging, I think it's like 52 points a game. But then you look at DeSoto, and they're averaging 60 points a game in the playoffs. I don't think this is going to be a defensive slugfest. How about you?
Yeah, it is video game numbers, and we keep talking about Sarad Baker, and he deserves all of the flowers. Just incredible. 380 yards last week, 7 touchdowns. He's absolutely incredible. But Angelo Rinda, Brock Boyd, these are incredible players as well. DeSoto gives up points against really good offenses, so the only chance I think they have is can they outscore Southlake Carroll. When I got to go back against the elite teams this year, they gave up 48 to Duncanville, 41 to Willis, 28 to Longview. That Georgia team, they gave up 70. North Crowley, they gave up 36. College Park, they gave up 34, and you talked about how Southlake Carroll has been averaging putting up 50 points a game. DeSoto has also had a lot of penalties this year, a lot of undisciplined play at times because they're so passionate, they're so emotional, but I think that's a good thing. I think Coach Mathis is going to be able to filter that at a level that's going to get them up to that peak that they're going to need to be against Southlake Carroll. I saw some highlights of the 2012 Classic between Southlake Carroll and DeSoto. When these 2 teams play, it's almost always an instant classic. I think Southlake Carroll is going to win a 1-score game, but it is going to be a shootout. First one to 60, Neil. First one to 60.
I think you might be right on that one. That should be a great one. All right, another one. This one in 5A. Frisco Lone Star. It's 14-0 against 14-0. Frisco Lone Star put up, I think it was like 58 last week, right, on a pretty good Highland Park team. And Aledo finally gets their first test last week, really, but they still get the win over Ryan.
Yeah, they passed that test with flying colors, and Trey Wright passed the test that I gave him. I said, you just need to stop Trey Wright. Well, nobody was going to stop Trey Wright last week. He had almost 650 yards, just probably one of the most impressive performances in the state this year. This is the #1 offense against the #1 defense in the state. Aledo's offense is great, but Lone Star's defense is average at best, and their special teams are not good at all. So very much like DeSoto and Southlake Carroll, the question is, can Lone Star actually go score for score against a better defensive unit? I just don't think they can. I think Aledo is going to win this one going away. I think it could be a blowout. I think Aledo could win this game by 3 scores because if Lone Star can't score against them, Aledo's going to score against them. So Lone Star's only chance is to match them score for score and get a couple of turnovers like they did against Highland Park.
All right, well, it is time to go, speaking of Lone Star, time to go inside and get that inside information. Our Ward Fasol does that each and every week, and this week he is with Jeff Rayburn of Lone Star. It is our Media Day segment.
The warm-up is presented by Cricket. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G speeds, but ping pong.
What? Your favorite burger whenever you want it. Whataburger is open 24/7, just like you like it. Parker University. Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today.
That's right. I'm joined by Jeff Rayburn, Lone Star head coach. And Coach, every time you walk into the game the last couple of weeks, they're walking in with all these rings on their fingers, and you're just taking them out one by one. You took out Highland Park. Now you got Aledo that's got a couple more rings on their fingers. They say to be the best, you got to beat the best. So how excited are you taking this team against Aledo at Newsom Stadium?
Yeah, there's no easy path in 5A Division I, especially going through Region 2 and then now facing Region 1 champions Aledo, their 12 state championships. If you want to have a chance to go win it all, you got to go through the best. And there's nobody better than Highland Park and Aledo with what they've done. So really excited about the matchup on Friday night.
You guys put up 700 plus of offense. Aledo is ridiculous in the trenches. I went to the game against Arlington Heights. A little bit of a mismatch there as far as size-wise, but you could see how hungry those guys are on offense and defensive lines. It's strategy. I know you're working on strategy right now, but the strategy to their immovable object and your high-powered offense, it looks like it's going to be a game with see which team's strength kind of pulls it out.
Yeah, they're elite on defense. They're so good up front, and they're so well coached. They play football the right way. And so we've got to find ways to get our playmakers the ball and give them a chance to go and do special things. We've got a lot of special players. Trey Wright's the catalyst of everything that we do. Davian Gross and Carice Hoyt. And we've got a lot of explosive playmakers. So we've got to be able to do some things to get them the ball and let them go and do what they do well.
We're talking about Trey Wright because I've talked about Gross and Hoyt with you over the last 2 years. But when a guy puts up 500 yards of offense for you against that team, and he's no longer a sophomore anymore. We're in, week 15? He's certainly grown up now. How has he grown up from year to year, from game to game, making the right decisions for you and leading this offense?
Yeah, he's done such a good job of growing from week to week, from game 1 against Argyle, playing in a hostile environment there against a really championship-level football team. His athletic ability, the way he can throw it, the way he can run it, has always been there. But his maturation as a quarterback, how confident he is in running our offense, distributing the football to all our playmakers. He's just gotten better and better every week. And he's not a sophomore anymore. He's played 14 games. So now he's ready to go play in semifinals against Aledo.
Speaking about that last game, let's talk defensively. How do you hope defensively you guys can hold it down against that powerful Bearcats team?
Yeah, they're so good up front, and they do such a good job of running the football. I think that's where it starts. You got to stop them from running the football. And again, I don't know if you can stop them, but you got to get some stops on third down. You got to win first down, and hopefully you can get a few takeaways. If we can do those things and put our offense in some good field position and give us a chance to be in scoring zone, that'll really increase our chances.
And if any advice I can throw your way, keep away from 35 penalties in a game, which is what I had in the last game that I just shot. It's a ridiculous 4-hour game. Stay away from the penalties and keep the possessions on your side. That's the way to do it. Coach, I appreciate you joining me, man, and we will see you Friday night.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your work.
The warm-up is presented by Cricket. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket has jaw-dropping new unlimited plans.
The warm-up is brought to you by the East-West Shrine Bowl. Greatness starts here. January 27th at the Ford Center at the Star. A century-old tradition and the first step to NFL stardom. Visit shrinebowl.com for tickets. Discover what happens when rugged capability meets true performance. Kia, movement that inspires.
All right, Coach Aaron Ward, thank you very much. Time now, though, for the agenda. 3 more games with Professor Diggs. And again, because I guess we're so down to it, these are all great games. First of all, in 5A, the Melissa Cardinals, South Oak Cliff, 11-2 against 13-1. South Oak Cliff, their only loss, I think, was to Duncanville. Melissa with a great game against Argyle last week. How do you see this one?
Yeah, Melissa had a very resilient win, and their situational defense in that game was incredible. They held Argyle to 4 field goals in the red zone, and Argyle, you can't trade 3 for 7 in the playoffs, and that's why they won that game 20-19 and a missed field goal late. But credit Melissa. They stopped Anna the week before, held them to 7 points, and then held Argyle to 19 points. Just an incredible defensive blossoming from the Melissa Cardinals. But South Oak Cliff, they don't play good situational defense. They play elite defense for 48 minutes. Melissa's defense against great teams this year, they gave up 38 to Walnut Grove, 34 against the first time they played Argyle, and then 19 to Argyle. But again, the trend the last 2 weeks has been good. But what I like about South Oak Cliff is if you take away the run, they can pass. Jaden Williams was 16 of 21 for 288 yards this past week against PNG. 2 weeks ago, when Terrell took away the pass, they ran for 237 yards. Levon Morton ran for 237. Mikhail Trotter ran for 236. As a team, they ran for 500 yards. You can't take away everything from South Oak Cliff, and I think that's why South Oak Cliff is a favorite. Against 5A D2 teams, they haven't played a game within 28 points this year. I don't think this week is going to be much different. I think South Oak Cliff is going to win this game by 3 scores.
All right, another good one. 4A, Stephenville. Boy, they look pretty good. They're solid on offense, solid on defense, but here comes the Salina Bobcats. They're also 14-0. Obviously, they're explosive. How do you see this one?
Yeah, it's really the injury update. Salina may be down QB1, RB1. It kind of reminds me of Allen from 2008 when Tucker Carter came from the ashes and replaced Matt Brown, and they were able to win the state championship. I think Salina is trying to tap into that because they actually played better last week when Bo Bentley went down. As crazy as that sounds, it's like they leaned on their offensive line. They just got back to basics, and the basics were phenomenal. Guarov Mudasero is the name to watch if Bo Bentley's not able to go. And Luke Biagini is the running back who is RB2, who's been kind of stepping up for Salina's kind of battered team. Stephenville actually struggled against West Plains. That game was 21-7 early second quarter, but they finally got it going. Trot Jordan is the quarterback for Stephenville. Zyler McClendon is the big player. Trot Jordan threw 2 turnovers, which kind of led to West Plains getting up early, but then Stephenville did Stephenville things for the rest of the game. You cannot turn the ball over against Salina. I think Stephenville's going to play a clean game and upset the defending state champions this week.
All right, you heard it here first. Another good one. In fact, this was probably not on a lot of people's radar. It's 3A, Gunter and Wall. Gunter beat Wall last year, but Wall has a wall for a defense this year. I think in the playoffs total, they've given up like 14 points. It should be a great one again. How do you see it?
Yeah, the one game that you kind of look at in Wall's resume where you go, well, what about this, was against Idalou earlier in the year. They only won that game 35-21. They played Idalou last week and beat them 48-7. They took away that. They took no doubt away. And Gunter actually got worse in their revenge game. They didn't beat Leonard as much as they did the first time around. Gunter's got a sophomore in Knox Gage who's a phenomenal player. Jay Campidi, the running back, Alex Fenner, played against Leonard fantastically. But Wall, man, it is a brick wall when it comes to them. Their defense, as you talked about, is incredible. Their quarterback is really motivated from last year, Landon York. Against Idalou, he was 16 of 27 for 307 yards and 4 touchdowns. Reed Robertson is the cheat code that I don't think Gunter's going to have any answer for. He had 8 catches for 153 yards. I think Wall, as much as it breaks my DFW heart, is going to win that game. I got Wall by a couple scores.
They do look good. All right, well, Professor, enjoy your games you get out to this week. Everybody out there, enjoy your games. Bundle up. It might be a little cold, but just remember, AT&T Stadium is not, so we'll all make it there soon enough. Thank you for joining us as Cricket presents the warm-up. Everybody enjoy your games and come on right back here next week. We'll see you next week, everybody. And we leave you, as usual, with Professor Diggs' DFW area rankings and the team still alive, looking for a state title. See you next week.